Oh, the fucking thing won't work. I think that I will. I have plenty faith. I don't know. I might need a hand up here. Okay, so you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you alright. Let me turn you on speaker.
Okay.
So I can just kind of hold my phone at leisure.
Okay. Cool. So, welcome to the vidcast. We have our first guest. I don't know how you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Christina. I live in South Carolina. I work for the Department of Social Services here. Yeah, that's about it.
Nice. So this week our topic is scams, and we're just talking about any general scams that you've been a part of or witnessed or, have ideas about even. So,
yeah.
I guess where we start, like, have you heard of any good scams? Do you know anything proper that
It's all fun scam. Number one is I feel like some scammers are getting a lot better. When we were growing up, the big scam was like getting the email from the Nigerian king or whatever. Yeah. Who lost all his money. And we're still getting these. Like, I sent you a few of these via email, and they're hilarious. It looks like they're coming out of Burkina Faso, whatever that country is called. But, so there are still those scams going around, but I think that because of technology and because of the new users, which are like the two main categories, the Zoomers, the young generation, and the Boomers, the older generation, they're kind of finding new ways to scam people, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I have a lot of fear about, like, older people, particularly, like my grandmother got scammed recently, and it was like, or before she died, a few years back, but she got scammed. And so now what's the new, scamming old people, that's good and easy and fun, but like, yeah. what's the new, like, so these people are coming after like, Child Protective Services now?
Well, so we did have one case where the scammers, they targeted a youth that left foster care, but they targeted her by saying they were working with a foster care organization. So it really makes me feel like scammers are like pinpointing different things about people. And I think you have experience with this based on your location. So scammers, it's not just a generic, hey, I'm in Africa and I need money. Now it's like, hey, I know this specific thing about you, and I'm going to try to get money out of you.
Yeah.
So he actually transferred $5,000 to this quote unquote organization that was going to help her, invest it or whatever as a foster child. And now she's just out. Like, there's nothing we can do about that.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so what were they promising? Like, how do they go about doing this? Like, what were they promising? Like, what was the end goal?
So this happened in the Low Country, but the email, it just was very specific to this person. So I don't remember exactly what they were promising. I think they were promising that they help foster youth, like, invest their money and manage their money. And she just gave all her information away. And I'll be honest with you, I work with a lot of foster youth, leaving care, a lot of teenagers, and they give you their social security numbers, even though they're supposed to give it to me. I always wonder why they're not asking why I'm asking for it. I don't feel like they really understand the sanctity of these numbers and what people can do with them.
Yeah, and well, the sanctity of the numbers is like degraded every day. It's like,
right.
What is Social Security at this point? Like, no one's promised anything almost. It's like, so it seems. And
well, social number can just help you find more information about people, especially online. So you give out your social security number, they can look that up and find things about you and then target you more specifically, I guess.
Yeah.
But I saw this get scammed one time. This is a really popular one right now.
Yeah, what's that?
I got an email from an old guy I used to work with at the museum. Okay, it said from Sam, and I read the email, and he was like, "Hey, I'm out of town. I forgot to get a birthday present for my grandson. Will you help me? Will you get one for me?" And it sounded like him in the email. It was just kind of broken English, like an older person would maybe type. I'm not trying to be like ageist or anything, but it was people is what I'm saying. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. What do you want me to go get? And they were like, can you get 3 Visa cards with $200 each on them? And I was like, no, I can't do that.
No.
So I messaged my husband, and I was like, this sounds really weird. He was like, yeah, it's a scam. And so I went back and I looked at the email, and it said from Sam, but when you look at the specific email that emailed you, it had like a weird email. It wasn't his email. And so that's kind of when you talk about protection against things. For instance, I get these all the time from Charter, and it says your account is going to be blacklisted. It's going to be shut off. It looks so official. It looks like a Charter email. But then you look at the email address that it's coming from, and it's just like a bunch of numbers and random things. And it's like, oh, this is a Charter. So I think one of the ways to kind of talk to our grandparents and talk to our, nieces and nephews is like, if you get an email from somebody, like, look at the address. Is it weird? Because if it's weird, it's probably a scam.
Yeah. So what's weird, though? Because I had, like, emails that were like, Big Giraffe 786, at MSN, like.
Let me look and see if I can find this one. Can you pause the broadcast so I can look real quick?
Oh, I mean, I can take anything out in editing, so yeah, it's no worries. And I'm also running everything solo here right now, so it's everything is live and fluid, but also subject to be changed. All this will be edited at some point.
Because I've got some from, and it's like, this is from Spectrum, but it's really not, and I'm trying to find those because I know that I saw one recently.
So they just claim to be from Spectrum, but like the address is not an at spectrum.com address. It's like...
Right, exactly. But they use the logo. They use the general formatting of, Spectrum emails.
Yeah, they like take their like logo images and their like headers and footers and put those...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one from Microsoft. Dear user, your email address has been compromised and will be blocked from sending or receiving. If not verified, follow the link below, to indicate your email is still in use. And then below there's a link. And it's really like threatening, and then it's it looks official. But then you look at the email and it's username at hotmail.com.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer.
That's not Microsoft. So just looking at the email, even if it looks really legitimate, But also, I would say that you shouldn't really follow links on emails unless, you verified that email is from that person.
Yeah, totally.
So let's just read some of these. These are ridiculous. Can I read some of the ones that I sent you?
Yeah. Lay it on me.
All right, hold on. Let me find it. So these are the kind. So I get junk mail all the time. I've got like 30 from the past month, but here's an example of what I just think they're hilarious and really surreal humor. It's almost like someone was trying to be hilarious. Okay, so here's one. Dear good day, friend. I greet you in the name of Almighty God, the giver of every good thing. I know it's true that my letter may come to you as a surprise. Nevertheless, I humbly ask you to give me your attention and hear me well. My name is, full caps, Miss Teresa William. We are nationality of United Kingdom, nationalized here in Burkina Faso in West Africa with my late husband before he died. I need a very honest and God-fearing who can stand and claim the sum of 10 million US dollars. Then deposit.
Wait, double million?
Well, it says it's 10,000,000, 000,000. So it's not even know it, but then it says million after it,
Yeah. 10 million.
That's a lot of money that this Teresa has.
Yeah.
that she has deposited in the bank here in Burkina Faso by my late husband before he died.
Yeah.
I found your email address from the internet after honest prayers to God to bring me a helper, which is like a little weird.
Yeah.
Like you're going online and you're just looking up emails. I don't know.
Yeah, and God spoke to you and gave you a random email address?
Yeah, like where are you just... And I'm like imagining who's reading this, and they're like, this seems legit, you know, because this must work sometimes. Because their whole goal is to send it out to just hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, and if they only get 2 people, you know, to fall for it, they've succeeded.
Yeah.
But she continues, Miss Teresa William continues, she prayed to God to bring her a helper that can champion the project. Then I decided to contact you, and if you may be willing and interested to handle these trust funds in good faith before anything happens to me, I want you to use this money for charity organizations, orphanages, widows, and other people who are in need. I took this decision because I do not have any children who will inherit this money. Yeah. And here's where it gets juicy. In addition, my husband's relatives are not close to me since I developed a cancer.
Okay.
My husband's... I developed a cancer problem, and it was their wish to see me dead in order to inherit his wealth since we have no child.
Jesus.
These people are not worthy of this inheritance. This is why I'm taking this decision. As soon as the bank releases the funds to you, you will take 40% of the total money for your effort, while 60% of the money will go to charity. I appreciate your utmost confidentiality and trust. I don't want anything to endanger my last wish. Any delay in your response may give me room to look for another good person for the same purpose. So it's kind of threatening, like, hey, if you don't get back to me, like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You can. She does not need any telephone communication because of her ill health.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is the kind of email that they're sending out, and there's tons of examples of this. It's just totally broken English. And for you and I, you know, we look at it, we obviously know, like, hey, this is a scam, you know. But my question is, I actually really have 2. Number 1, I get a lot of these kinds of emails. Is this a job in Burkina Faso?
Oh, it's gotta be.
Like, going to work and they're, you know, going into...
Yeah, it's gotta be like a full-time job. You know, these people log into their computers and then they just send out email after email after email, and then they like change a couple things in each email so that they're somewhat personalized.
Because everything they'll change is capitalized.
Yeah, dead giveaway.
Obvious, like here's where they will change it.
Yeah.
Burkina Faso. So I don't know a lot about that country, but I'm just wondering if there is, like, you know, these people wake up every morning, drink their coffee, go into work, and they just send out these emails. And my other question is, who is for this email? You know, who, because this is, I mean, it's serious when these elderly people are getting scammed like this. And it almost makes you wonder, like, hey, we got to start having talks with our grandparents, you know?
Yeah, right. Like, like, but how do you go about it? Because it's like, so basically, part of all this is like, how do we go about like stopping these scams from affecting us? And then also, you know, if you want, like, you know, how do you make a good scam, you know, and win on the other side? But yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that like scamming old people is a pretty low blow.
It's easy, but they don't know about technology, and they also have the most money. You know,
this is all true. I mean, so for instance, like I had like some people that called my workplace, one of these rafting outposts I work for, and then they like, so I was out on the river, you know, I was doing whatever I do, and then I come back, and all of a sudden, all the management's freaking out. Like, Nick, you need to call your mom, you need to call your dad, you need to call your grandmother. All of them been calling it all day. They're freaking the fuck out. Like what's going on? And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, they were calling and asking if you were in jail.
Oh my gosh!
And I was like, in jail?
This one.
So like, am I in jail? No, I'm not in. Like, what did you guys say? And they're like, yeah, we said, you know, no, I don't think so. Like, we sent him on a river trip. So unless like the cops like intercepted him on the river somewhere, and like there's
Actually, police rafts trying to find you on the river.
yeah, like I mean, they're like I don't think that's really possible. Like I don't think y'all should worry. But they were like freaking out, and so I get back and like they're like, you need to call him and talk to him. And so I called my mom and dad, and they're like, yeah, your grandmother, she got a phone call saying that you had been locked up, and you needed to give her you need to give one of your friends, quote unquote, like $5,000 or something, $10,000, to bail you out. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, like you need to give these guys $10,000, or your grandson's going to be in jail for the next couple of months.
I'm wondering, they must have been really aggressive, because in no way, the legal, I mean, unless it was for a bond, like you can't just pay people out of jail.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, yeah, like I guess it's some sort of bail bonds issue,
Yeah.
But it's still just like, holy hell. And like I talked to another friend of mine that his grandma got the same phone call more or less, and she paid it out.
But probably just call hundreds of people, and they're like, your grandson, and they're just hoping that person has a grandson.
Yeah, like how do they find out that these people have grandchildren? I mean, I've gotten in a few of these scams, and it's like it's really easy nowadays. Now that everything's on broadcast on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I mean, I'm really loose with all of my like numbers and whatever's, because I don't really own anything, so
Yeah.
I don't really have anything to care about. But all that stuff's out there, and so I mean, I had like another situation where it's like a guy. Like so for me, it's like I've gotten a bunch of these, and I try to get to the bottom of it. Like, what?
One about, do you remember that one?
What about which one?
It was like some girl that was like, you sent me a picture, an illicit picture, and I'm going to post it everywhere unless you do this.
Yeah, that one. So that was like, some girl, and she added me on like Facebook or something, one of those, and she said, hey, like, I'm new in the area, I just want to meet new people, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh cool, and we're just chatting, and I was like, oh, she's kind of cute, she's got, checked out her profile, she got some cute pics, she's outdoorsy, blah blah blah. And she's like, yeah, I'm just new to the area, I'd like to meet some new people, and I was like, cool, like, you want to go rafting or hiking? She's like, yeah, definite. And so like, we're chatting it up, and then all of a sudden my other friend comes on, like we're about to have this like party sort of thing, and so he comes up to me and he's like, hey man, I saw that you're friends with this chick on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure she's a scammer, so like, so watch out. So I was like, okay, like, well, that's great. Like, I did add her, and I am talking to her right now, like, and she seems cute. And he's like, I was like, why do you think she's a scammer? And he's like, well, she asked for this and this, and I just kind of assumed, And so I'm like, all right, well, let's see how this plays out. And for me, it's like, I don't have anything. Like I said, it's like, I'm down to play out these, like, these situations.
Down with this people.
Yeah, I'm down. Like, let's see what you got. Like, show me what you got. And so it's like, yeah, so what is your goal? Like, how are you going to, what are you trying to pull out of me? What do you think you can get? And so this girl is like, yeah, like, I'd love to hang out, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to video chat? And I was like sitting there at a party, with some friends. And granted, we were like in a bathroom at this point because it was so cold in the house we were living in. All of us are partying in like the communal bathroom, which is a big area. We had the sauna, like the heaters going and the fucking showers going. Anyways, so we're all hanging out, playing cards and then drinking and whatnot. And she's like, can I video chat you? And I'm sitting there like, my friends are well aware that like this whole scam is going down, and I'm playing into it. And I was like, yeah, like, no problem. Like, yeah, video chat me. Let's go. I'm at a party with friends, but yeah, video chat me. So she video chats, and it's like her laying in bed, and she's like,
yeah,
scantily clad, and she's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, can I show you this? And I was like, okay, like, whatever. And can I show you that? And it was like, one thing led to another, and then all of a sudden I'm like watching full on, porn.
Like a porn.
Yeah. And so I'm like, holy shit, like, she's rubbing herself down, having a good time at it, this is kind of wild, but okay. And she's like, yeah, you want to see this? And it's like, I'm sitting there with my friends and we're all like, yep, let's go, and so that went down. And then at some point she's like, oh, show me, your stuff. And I was like, no, I'm good. Yeah. And she's like, no, show me your stuff. I was like, nah, it's all good. No, I'm good. And she's like, well, you need to send me money or I'm going to tell people, that we had this conversation. And then just hangs up. And I was like, what just happened to me? And so then, like,
I'm just going to tell everybody about this because I don't really care. I remember you telling me, you're like, she's going to tell people, but I don't care. Like, I didn't do anything.
Well, yeah, so it gets to that. So basically, like, she messages back a few minutes later because I was like, whatever. And she's like, I'm gonna tell, I know your phone number, I know your home address, I know what town you're from, I know your mom, your dad, your sister, I know your uncles and aunts. Clearly stuff that you can find on Facebook pretty easily.
Yeah.
But this person's like, oh yeah, I know all this stuff about you. I'm gonna send this to your grandmother. This video that we just had, and I was like, okay. And then they send me a video, but it's not the video of us chatting. It's like a really sloppily edited video of like some guy unzipping his pants and whipping his shit out, and then right after that is me and my friends like reactions, like, oh yeah, and then that went over and over a few times, and they're like, yeah, like you want your grandmother to know that you like looking at like dudes whipping their junk out in jean pants, or I don't know what the fuck. It's like, yeah, like, I mean, that's fine, like, fair, like. But like, yeah, like send that to my grandmother. Like fine, like go for it.
Yeah.
And they were just like, man, F you, like this is bullshit. And I was like, what is bullshit? Like you're the one trying to get one over on me. Like get the fuck out of here.
I'm reading an article about it right now. It's called extortion, and it is a form of blackmail where criminals use fake IDs to befriend victims online using websites like Facebook, Skype, blah, blah, blah. And this is an old article. It's from 2016, but in that year, I think 6 people committed suicide over it.
Jesus.
Like, they got you, and you just don't care. You're, like, telling them, like, hey, do what you want. Like, this doesn't bother me. But imagine if you were married, and your wife was going to be real mad and divorce you if she found out.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're looking for, men who are married or who have something to lose if these videos get out. But what is sad but interesting about this is, I mean, it's causing people to kill themselves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I believe it. Like if I didn't care so little about like any of this, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta I'm running things on my own tonight, but all right, we're recording it. So let me grab a beer real quick too.
Yeah. Well, what's another interesting thing that I'm reading is a lot of this is connected to organized crime.
What do you mean by that? Like organized, like in how? Oh, wait.
It says to this website or this article from Independent, it says while individual cases themselves may involve relatively limited amounts of money, this is being organized by well-equipped, often offshore organization crime groups that are facilitating this activity. The groups identified are working out of Morocco, the Philippines, and the Ivory Coast. So I'm still reading, but, it seems like, and think about the editing that they use with yours. Obviously they have somebody on hand that, that probably wasn't just this girl, really good at editing stuff. It's probably that she's connected to a group of people that this is what they do, so that
this is
everything.
This is clearly not a girl, for the record. Like, this is clearly some dude in, like, India or something.
Yeah, well, yeah. Philippines or Ivory Coast or something. They just have a recording of this girl, and who is this girl? I don't know. Where did they find her? And is she in a human trafficking? Like, we have no idea who this girl is.
Yeah, it could get really dark really quick. Like, who knows?
We're talking about scams, and we're talking about ones that are impactful and current. This scam is the modern age scam, right? Because they confront you with being, a pretty girl that likes the same interest as you. How did they must have looked at your profile. Oh, yeah. And then they go and see who you're related with, which is all online. They can probably find your address, or what city you live in by going online with your name and phone number. Because it seems targeted, like it was the kind of girl that you would like, right? It wasn't just some big-breasted, porn star-looking woman.
Yeah, no, they totally it was outdoorsy chick, down to do some hikes, down to go rafting, down to go down the river. I'm just new to the upstate, like at the time it was the upstate of South Carolina, I'm new to the area, blah, blah, blah. And they mentioned some things that made it sound legit at first, But
that's my scamming is it's getting smart, and it's using technology to actually find information about people specifically.
Yeah.
And targeting them. And for you, that was fine because you didn't have anything to lose, and you also didn't whip your dick out.
Yeah, right. I didn't. Yeah, but
for a lot of people,
my friend might have. That might be why he gave me a heads up. I don't know, but I could also see many other people doing that and having that video out there. They just they were yeah, this seems it all seemed pretty real. It seemed she's got a really shitty video camera. This is really low quality, but this seems live. It was
and it seems there's a lot of people that are killing themselves are teenagers.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
So you gotta think, who really cares about this stuff getting out? And teenagers care a lot about their reputation and about their, they don't want to be embarrassed like this. They don't want their life to be over if they have a girlfriend or really strict parents. So yeah, this is a dangerous scam for sure.
Yeah. Once it's online, it's out there, and so it's this one really hit home because it's how many people fall for this? And I think a lot, because they did a really tricky thing that I thought it was tricky, but it was it was a live video chat, but then she'd be like, oh, do you want to see this? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And then the video chat would break and stutter for a second. And then it'd be a clip of her showing me that. And then it'd be you want to see this? And the video chat would stutter again. And then show that. And so I was almost under the impression oh, this is live. This is a live person doing real things in the moment. And I could see especially if you had no background in video or any of this, you'd be huh, yeah, that's legit. This person's really there, and so I'm gonna do whatever I can, keep this party going. And then all of a sudden, you're a truck driver, working your ass off on the road, and you're making a couple $100,000 a year, but this video, boom, they've got it. Of you doing this, and they can put whatever leverage they want on it, and now your whole fucking family is gonna know. Say that again?
I said, and if you don't do anything, they'll apparently just make a video anyway.
Yeah,
it was you.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous, the way that they did that. It was it was almost cute. It was oh, seriously? Send that to my grandmother. It's just me and my friends.
Yeah, but the problem is, Nick, they will.
Yeah. But with that, they could have sent it to my grandmother. My grandmother would have been wow, I didn't want to see a dude's Johnson. But but really, this is just a video of my grandson, and his friends, laughing and, it's not, there's no actual correlation to, some random...
It's cool. They're just going to be what the hell is this, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, get it away.
Yeah, tell your friend to stop editing videos. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. But that was a wild one, and I think that one could get a lot of people. I had another one recently that was what was it? So this guy calls me up and is like, yeah, we're from the like IRS or something official sounding like that. And they're like, yeah, we need you to verify some things. Like, you have a warrant out for your arrest.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember this.
Yeah, and then so they're like, you have a warrant out for your arrest. Like, you need to to verify that like you've paid these things and like that you don't have these things. Because then they went even further to be like, yeah, so now like the FBI is looking into your case, like that kind of shit. I was like, what
didn't they like know your address, or they were like, you used to live here, or you live here, and that was kind of.
Oh yeah, this is what it was. They were like, yeah, we found a car full of cocaine, and the car was linked to your name somehow. And I was like, damn, dude, that would be rad, but like, that's not mine. Like, you know, like if I had a car of cocaine, that would be pretty stupid. But y'all wouldn't have found it, anyways. But it's like. They were like, yeah, we found this car full of cocaine, and somehow it's linked to your name, and here's some like information that like correlates to your life.
Yeah, I was like where you live. They found it, on the border of this small town. You were like, near the border. I don't remember what the town was, but they said it like.
Yeah, it's where I'm at right now. Yeah, so I'm in this little town on the border of Mexico right now in Terlingua, Texas, and tiny little town. And so they brought that up, and it had been like a year or so since I'd been there, or year. And so I was like, what the, like, how does this person know where I've been? But it's like, it's super easy, like, think back. It's like, oh yeah, I post photos that are all like location tracked, like this person's in Terlingua. And so then they could be like, oh, boom, like he was in Terlingua. We're going to make up this weird story. And so this guy's like going off. And at first, like, he sounded like he had an American accent. And then at some point, I, like, pissed him off because I like, pulled over the car, like, and stopped and, like, I'm chatting. And, like, my girlfriend at the time was like, what the fuck? Like, dude, just hang up. And I was like, no. We're going. Like, I want to see...
Hey, you guys up to,
Yeah, I just want to see, where, like, how far this can go. Like, I mean, once again, I don't have anything to lose. So, like, let's go. So the guy, like, he starts going off. And at some point, I'm just like... Yeah, no, that wasn't me, but like, tell me more, and just keep questioning, like, oh yeah, no, go on, like more, and then he's like, okay, well, I need you to send me, or you need to open an account, you need to get a Walmart card, and open an account, and put $5,000 or something like that in the account.
Yeah, this is FBI protocol.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, why do I need to do that? And they're like, no, like, so, like, if you do that, like, basically, they told me my social was taken. Like, because of this incident, my social was put on hold and all my accounts were frozen.
Like, erase your identity, which is if you don't know better, this is a pretty, it's a threat.
Yeah, totally erase my identity. Like, the guy's like, yeah, your identity's completely erased. We're gonna, like, but if you give us, like, $5,000, then we'll have some proof that you're still alive and like that you don't have anything to do with this, and then we'll reinstate your social security number and then give you the money back in that same account that you gave us the money in. And it's like, okay, that sounds great. And they're like,
really cheap. Something the FBI would be doing.
Yeah, it sounded ridiculous. And he's like, but he got a little pushy, and he's like, yeah, no, you need to go to the Walmart right now and do it right now, kind of thing. I was like, that's like, I'm driving around, sir. I'm working today. I'm planning on going out on a vacation today in the afternoon. Like, I don't have time for that. And there's no Walmart near me, And he's like, no, you need to go right now, and you need to do this right now. And then at some point, his accent changed from, like, a very American to, like, very, like, I won't even say, but something not American, like, something very, like, like...
Probably not on shore, it's probably... And that brings me to my thing. It's like, is this an organized industry in these countries? And when we say organized crime, it doesn't look like this is just one guy with an idea to do this. It looks like this guy is getting paid to do this.
Oh, yeah.
And a percentage of calls that they get that actually work, because otherwise they wouldn't be doing this.
Well,
And I actually had several, service industry friends that when they see an older person getting like 3 Visa cards with $200 like maxing them out, they'll ask them like, hey, why are you doing this? Because that's a red flag right there. No older person going and getting that many Visa cards. Like, who does that?
yeah.
Except people getting scammed.
Yeah. Or I mean, it's got to be something weird. Like, it's got to be something out of the box. Yeah, it's not normal. It's not normal. Red flag. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
either. When you think about like what to do about it, kind of questions, do we want the government making, what do we want them to do about this? They can't block all these emails. They have email generators, obviously, that are emailing these people. And, I'm kind of against any more laws, really, honestly. And so I think the best thing to do is just get information out there, especially to the elderly people. Do some PSAs, talk to your grandparents, making sure that they understand that anybody that's threatening you or soliciting you, it's not normal, and there are definite signs that we can warn them about. But young people too, and young people do not care. They put everything on the internet. And I work with young people. I know this specifically. And how do you get a group of people that were raised on the internet to understand that that's not where you're supposed to put everything?
Well, yeah. And, it's easy when you want to stay in touch, like, with everything. And nowadays, everybody's staying so in touch via the internet. So, I mean, they want everything that they do to be out there. And I'm halfway, It's like I just don't have anything to like that I own or care about really, more or less. So it's like I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm on the internet. Like, let's have fun. Like, come at me. Like, if you want it, come and get it. Like, you're not gonna get much. But a lot of these young kids also don't have much. So there's a similar sort of. I get it. I get it. But all the stuff can also be turned on them and become this like bully culture, like electronic fucking like cyberbullying, like quickly, like with one video being released, kids gonna kill themselves,
Well, honestly, like, I know we're kind of veering from the topic, but bullying now is to the point where they know your address. Like, so if you say online that somebody doesn't like, even if it's offensive or whatever, you get death threats, but they're not just like, I'm going to kill you. They're like, I know where you live. I know who your mother is, and this violent invasion of privacy is also on the rise, it seems like.
Well, yeah, and so it's even further than that. It's like I was reading something the other day, or like I saw a video, I don't remember, but basically these kids, they were picking on this one kid, and they created a fake profile online and catfished this kid, like in high school, catfished this kid and made this kid believe that she had fallen in love with this guy, like online, like weeks or I guess it wasn't weeks, but like a week and a half or so of like nonstop chatting, and like she was like, I'm in love with this person, like, I really care about them.
And they're so emotional, they're so sensitive. This is a hard time for people to be, psychologically manipulated like this.
Yeah. And so it goes further. And so they're doing this, and they like make this chick like fall in love with this character they've created. But then the character dies. And what's fucked up is that they like basically saw an obituary. They saw when the funeral, when the wake was going to happen, or whatever, the viewing, and it was like a week and a half later. So then they like just like found this person, created this fake profile for this person, then like had this chick show up at this guy's fucking wake, like she had no clue who he was until a couple weeks prior, and then now she's in love with him, and then he dies. And now she's at this wake, and all these people show up just to laugh at her. And, it's like, fuck, dude. Like, that's brutal. That's like,
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a handful of stories that are in a similar sort of vein to
It's
that.
really Bo Burnham's new special Inside. He touches on this,
I
the psychological damage we're doing to our youth because we just kind of let them be on the internet all day. I mean, think about how their brain um, neurochemistry is affected by this kind of stuff.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Like I don't. Yeah.
Because all they care about is on online presence. I've got many kids who, when you ask them kind of, when they're homeless or whatever, you ask them what they want to do, and they want to be a YouTube star or a TikTok person, and that's fine. But it's almost like the youth of today are so involved and so invested in their online presence that they're really slipping away. I feel like from reality. And I'm sure that the older generation said that of us because of Facebook and all this stuff. But
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, right. Like the internet. Oh, that's never going anywhere. Like, and here we are. Speaking.
yeah, here we are. It's a
But
big, what should that be? Who should be in charge of it? Kind of thing.
well, and so I think that personally is like one of the beauties of the internet is that it's a free platform, or was, and it's slowly kind of being whittled away at, but it was
Right.
a free platform at some point, and then that's where I kind of found personally like my releases through high school is like anytime I had questions that I couldn't ask, my family or friends, or I'd go to the internet, and somebody on the internet would be bleeding their heart out, and I would have an answer to it.
The thing that scares me, I guess, about the internet is how easy it is to control what people's opinions, thoughts, are just by memes. You see a couple memes about somebody, oh, they're great, and everybody loves that person now. You see a couple memes saying something negative, and so many people read that like little line, and then it forms, their entire public opinion or perception. And teenagers are so young; they're so easily manipulated by what they see online. So it just makes me feel like, and I always say, the salespeople are getting good at the internet. They're able to manipulate people into buying whatever they're selling, whether it's a scam, whether it's a product. And politicians and political people are getting good at the internet, and they're getting good at just throwing some stuff out there and watching it spread and changing opinions, manipulating the way people think. And I think that's dangerous. And I don't know what would really solve that because, you would think just by being an open thinker, but even the smartest of people, they get bombarded with images and little sentences and, pictures of, Tom Hardy with a saying under it. It slowly just kind of develops their thinking. And I wonder who the puppet master is behind that. Where are these images coming from? Who is trying to manipulate the youth of America? I don't know.
No. That's the thing. It's like so. It's like there's a big call it a conspiracy theory going on right now, where it's like a bunch of like the internet is basically being infiltrated by all these other countries, and there's all this all these memes even and videos being put out by other countries based on a lot of times it's like with political agendas or not even political, but like emotional response videos. It's things that'll piss people off and like get them worked up.
But they build up over time.
And so it's like if this is a conspiracy maybe, but it's like, but yeah, I totally believe that like maybe like if I was another country trying to take over America, like it would be easiest if I just was able to put my efforts into every screen that all these people are looking at every day, and just distract, and if I can, distract and separate. It's like
Right, exactly. When you look at these memes that say something, I always wonder who made this. For what purpose did someone make this little picture of a small opinion or whatever?
Yeah, in some regards, it's like I've made tons of memes, and it's like I like to do things for fun because I like the funs and I like the laughs. But on other regards, it's like the ones that are much more politically charged, is like, who the fuck is behind this? Like,
Yeah,
who is taking their time out of their day to make this like politically charged meme?
Right.
Or whatever.
Well, another thing that I always notice, you know, the little quizzes that people take, and it's like, how independent are you? You're 500,000 times independent. You know, this is just a way for them to get your email and sell it to people. Like, I don't understand why people keep taking these
surveys,
these quizzes. It's just like, you're not 500% alone, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just crazy results that have nothing to do, or like, which celebrity are you? And it's like your picture's like a dog, and it shows a picture of like Denzel Washington. It's like, why are you guys just giving your information out like this? Because this is how scammers get your email, or this is how places get your email, or this is how your Facebook is hacked.
More importantly, like your passcodes. Like, it's like, oh yeah, like what are the 5 best dog names? So, like, list them out.
Right.
And you're like, oh, I like Jack. Jack's a good dog name. And it's like,
you grow? You know, like,
well, yeah. I mean, that's just a stupid example, but you know what I mean. It's like, and you list all all this shit. Like, what was your first car? What was you? And people always list this shit off, and they're so proud of, like, you know, where they were and what they were doing, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, we got pretty good odds at guessing all of your passcodes to anything you have.
Right. Words, because they're just, you know, they know what the questions are. They need to know your answer to the question.
Yeah.
And so I'm really torn on the internet. I'm really torn on social media, because on the one hand, I don't want anyone to be regulating it, because there's always a chance that the regulators are biased in some way. You know, I'm always for freedom, you know, and the internet is no exception. But I guess the issue arises when you give people total freedom, and then the salesmen come in, or the hackers come in, or the manipulators come in, and who's to stop them? You know, how do we reach our youth and let them know, like, that you're being manipulated? And not only, this is a total sidetrack, but this is very interesting. I'm dealing with this a lot at work, okay?
Yeah.
TikTok is now a trend to fake mental illnesses. It's kind of a competition to who has the most mental illnesses. Wow. So you've got teenagers, and it's mostly teenagers, and they were faking Tourette's. That's a big one people are faking now, or they're faking DID, dissociative identity disorder, or whatever.
Yeah.
Multiple personality disorder. And you know, they're bragging about how many disorders they have, but it's you know, impossible. It's obviously they don't have some of these disorders, but what the fuck? What is this doing to our kids? You know, should we be watching this, like, talking to them about this?
Huh. Yeah.
This is I've dealt with kids that I work with that I just have noticed that they are saying similar things, like they have multiple personalities. And obviously I am, you know, pro-transgender, but they're, you know, saying they're transgender. Perhaps they're not. Perhaps that is just one more thing that they're adding to the list of things that they've got. So I just don't know. I feel like something is happening on TikTok where...
So, wait. So what's the driving force to creating these videos of people that are, you know, I don't know the word for it, but... Hold on one second.
Well, I think our teens like to feel different. You know, when you're in high school, you want something about yourself that makes you stand out, especially kids that are lonely, or kids that feel like they're not being seen or heard. And a lot of foster kids are like this. But and I don't even know how to phrase my question about it, but it does make me really wonder what platforms like TikTok are doing mentally to our youth. You know, and I've seen people doing TikTok dances, like, above their child that's in the hospital with respiratory illness. And they're doing a TikTok dance and making a TikTok out of it.
Yeah.
Everything's TikTok video. They don't do anything for reality. It's just what's an opportunity to make content. And that was the big thing about Bo Burnham's special Inside, was people are just obsessed with content. You know, and making content and having content and showing content. And when we're looking at the future of not only America but the world, it looks like things are going to get pretty hard. So what kind of adults are we really raising here? Are they even capable of surviving, if there is a depression or food scarcity? That's what worries me. When I work with all of my teenagers leaving foster care, which is a whole nother topic I could go on and on about.
Yeah, we can't do that tonight, but yes.
They're not prepared at all for the real world. And I'm thinking this is larger than teenagers in foster care. I'm thinking this is a pretty widespread issue with teenagers in general that are being infantilized by TikTok or just being, I don't know.
Well, TikTok's such a weird one because you just log on and you just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and there's no stopping. It's just a never-ending scroll. And so, like, hold on, I've got someone at the door. Really sorry to interrupt. All right, come on in, Thor. Come on in, man. Sorry, my friend Thor's here. Thor, Christy's here. If you'd like to take a seat, you can.
Hi, Christy.
What are you up to, man?
Not much. Just dropping people off after Sunday Fun Day and all of your outfit.
Anyways, so we're talking about TikTok and like how TikTok is like maybe a problem for the youth today and how parents are treating TikTok and how we really just don't know what to do with this thing.
Can I speak for a moment then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, and one more time, the name?
Christina.
Christina. Nice to meet you. My name is Thor.
Hi, Thor.
So first and foremost, I would like to clarify that I'm Switzerland, and I use that as a term of I'm the most neutral territory in the world because I am not opinionated, and nor do I follow any constructions made by governments, policies, or anything like that. At the end of the day, I live my life according to the will of how I walk my feet and how I speak my speak. So, and my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, he does a lot of the TikTok stuff. So I've learned a lot about the TikTok culture here recently. And if you'd like to hear just my quick opinion, I'd like to tell you, and if anything offends you or anything like that, definitely let me know and I will definitely stop speaking.
I want you to know that I like to talk to people. I like to hear what they have to say, and I just don't really ever get mad about it. So don't feel like you have to shy away from anything here.
Well, thank you very much. So what I've noticed about the TikTok culture is it's very sheepish, and I say that like the animal, you got the shepherd and the sheep, TikTok being the shepherd, the people on TikTok being the sheep, and people like to mimic the things they see on this, and it's so influential that the people who are doing things on there to influence children and adults, not even just children, because at the end of the day, more adults watch this than children do, and that's what's screwed up because the adults are what's supposed to help the children. So when we take TikTok into account, people will see these things, they're like, oh, I have a TikTok hack. Well, yeah, but, OSHA doesn't approve of that. At the end of the day, the FDA doesn't approve of that. Just because you saw it on TikTok doesn't mean it's right to do it in a general business, in a general atmosphere where people who could react differently, react negatively. We have to be really conscious of the things we do on a day-to-day basis and the things we say on a day-to-day basis. And so people who are on TikTok, from what I've noticed, is they like to, things catch their ear. It's like an earworm. So they like to sit down and they say the same things that these people say, and they do the same things that these people do. But in reality, these aren't really acceptable things for humans to be doing. There's some nasty things. I've seen some dark TikToks in my with my own eyes that people have showed me, and I'm like, what the heck is this? This is not something.
Can you give me an example?
What'd you say?
I said, could you give me an example?
So, there was a TikTok of this boy who was really schizophrenic. So he had a whole entire channel where he had no viewers. He had like 25 viewers, local people in his area. I think this was in Wisconsin or one of those northeastern states or Midwest states, and he was really schizophrenic. And for some reason, people believed the words this kid was saying. And it led down. This kid ended up being a mass murderer and murdered like 12 people in his town. Jesus. And there's actually. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just commenting. He was influencing others on TikTok
to do these things.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is, there's people on TikTok, thankfully, because any system, database, or program or social media you have, there's always going to be those people who are against it. Even though they're on it to prove that they're against it, to prove other people that they should get away from this. I actually have a drink right here. Thank you very much. I'll still take it, honestly. Yeah, I'm sure. And so, there's people who go on TikTok and they're like, look at this person. See the way they're reacting. See the actions that they do. Look at their environment. A lot of people, when they look at a TikTok, the first thing you're going to see is a face. The second thing you're going to do is hear. You're going to use your senses. And you're going to hear their voice. And you're going to hear the words they're saying. So now you're visually paying attention to this person. And you're so focused on this person that you're no longer focused on the background. And the background of any video will tell you something about somebody, or about the theme, or about the people, or about the environment. So if you start paying attention to those things, you can realize, oh man, maybe there's something I should think about. It could be something simple as a Russian dolls. I forget the technical term for them, but the Russian dolls that would have multiple dolls inside of them. Those were made for attention deficit kids back in the 1800s.
Right, really?
Yeah, not a lot of people knew that, but it was to be able to open something, and it was a definition of it was for attention deficit kids, and it was for an example of insanity, to do the same thing repetitively over and over and have the same reaction. So now you open this thing, and inside is another of the same exact thing, but it's a little smaller. But it's the same thing.
Okay,
the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over.
It's really good for kids' fine motor skills. So if we're thinking about them as a toy, they're really a great one, and they're really Montessori based.
For sure, especially back in those times for attention deficit people.
But I wanted to just comment a little bit on what you were talking about, because I like what you said about being sheepish, or at least having the shepherd and sheep metaphor, because it's so true. I mean, you see kids just walking around filming TikToks, and they're doing something, but they don't really know why they're doing it. It's just a TikTok thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, who started this TikTok thing?
It's a random person. Here's the thing. It's the draw of the straw. Do you remember that? You draw a straw, and whoever got the longest one was it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, in a prime example of TikTok history and TikTok trends, do you remember the song Kiki, Do You Love Me? Are You Riding? Yeah. All right, and kids were doing that. They'd get out of their vehicle that was literally in idle, in drive. They're parked. They not in the P. They were in the D, and they said,
"That's what she said."
And they do this dance,
and they do the dance while their vehicle is rolling and somebody recording, and then they get hit by a car. That is a sheepish mentality, and we live in a. Go ahead.
Recently, this was like a couple months ago, they closed the schools because there was a TikTok challenge to shoot up of the school. And I don't know if it was serious or not, but all schools in Greenville County closed that day.
If you don't mind me asking, where are you from?
Manipulate an entire youth, even if it's innocuous things at first, even if it's just little dances or whatever, if you can get people on board, what can you get them to do eventually?
Yeah, did you ever use Yik Yak? You remember that?
I remember Yik Yak, yeah.
So it was like Yik Yak. It was like an anonymous, like, to your local area messages could be sent out. And, like, people would, like, go to some frat party and, like, see some shit go down and then write about it on Yik Yak and be like, so-and-so is such a, you know, whatever, and this and that, and, like, just wreck people. And then now thousands of people just saw that instantly, and they're like, wait, what? Like so, within minutes, someone's life is destroyed.
Destroyed.
Like, yeah, right.
Oh yeah, and a prime example of that, going further back than Yik Yak, was the original database that started anonymous things, that which is where GIFs and memes derive from.
I think she hears you here.
Oh. It was.
Can you hear better if he like looks at you, Christy? Like, try that.
Looks at me.
Talk to her.
If I talk to you two in the microphone, or if I look at the camera and talk to you, can you hear me the same?
No, I think she hears you here.
Easier.
It's easier when I look at the box or the camera?
It's easier when you're just closer to the microphone. Right now, I can hear you great.
This is the microphone?
Yeah, well, you're looking at the, yeah.
Okay,
so she exists here, like,
the original...
This is Christy.
Hey, Christy, nice to meet you.
Don't touch her like that.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was non-consensual touching. May I please pat your head? Oh, thank you. So the original database for all of these things derives from 4chan. And I don't know if you've heard of 4chan.
My husband gets on 4chan all the time.
Yeah, and that's a real thing. I'm not talking smack on 4chan. I love 4chan. 4chan can be very informative when it comes to certain things. But at the end of the day, 4chan ruins a lot of lives. Because a meme derives directly from 4chan. That is where memes derive from. You know, and for people to start taking livelihoods of other people into their own hands, non-consensually, mind you, by the way. Majority of these things that were captured that make us all laugh and make us all cry, and a lot of these things were done non-consensually. So and I'm, like I said, I'm a non-biased person. That's the best way to put it. I'm a non-biased person, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of things. If you do something non-consensually, I personally think that is wrong.
Right, okay.
If you look at a person and say, hey, I want you to get up and do the, like, I'm on TikTok, I've got a famous video, I'm dancing good, I look good, I'm a sexy beast, or you know, man or woman, you know, there's a lot of sex appeal to this too. That's what sucks, because that's part of the digging into the visuals. Visual digs into the brain.
Revisit what Nick had said earlier about scrolling the scroll hole, you know, what you call it.
Yeah.
You know, neuroscientists have studied the brain while they do the scroll hole, and it's the same receptors that drugs reach. You know, it's the dopamine and serotonin receptors that are activated when scrolling. So, I mean, there's an addiction. There's an addiction component to this.
Well, and these things create serotonin too.
What?
These things create serotonin for these kids because they visualize it as a positive thing, and now it's created serotonin in the brain. The brain takes this in as something for it to be a positive reaction to your body. You know. Yes. I don't know what the
age that I worry that this is going to have long-term effects on their neurochemistry. Because we've got a whole generation of kids that are addicted to scrolling, and we have a whole group of people that are using social platforms to manipulate thought. So I do have to leave. My 1-year-old's bedtime is coming up. But I just want to leave with kind of that thought and that worry, is that we have a whole bunch of young minds that are still growing, becoming addicted to social media platforms, and we don't know who's controlling them. We don't know who's behind the curtain, you know, creating these trends, creating these memes. And that's a scary thought. And it's a scary thing to think about what the next generation is going to kind of be like, because I don't want to say brainwashing or mind melt, you know, whatever. But in a way, we are seeing that happen in real time. Good. So, Nick, I like being on your podcast. You know, call me anytime you want to chat about whatever. Thor, it was so great to meet you.
It was great to meet you, too.
Yeah, and thank you, Christy, so much. It was such a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for hitting us up. Like, you have such beautiful words of wisdom to offer, and I want more people to hear you.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. Well, I love you. Y'all have a good night. Okay.
Call me back.
Hey,
Call me
you
back
too.
sometime.
I would love to have a
please come back
discussion
on.
with you sometime. I'm sorry for talking.
Yeah, we'll do the podcast again. I think it's super fun.
Oh yeah. This was more than epic.
We're neighbors.
You're actually Thor's my neighbor.
Yeah, so you didn't have a problem getting Thor there.
Yeah, no problem.
He can come
But
grab me
Christy,
anytime.
seriously, thank you. You're right on time. Honestly, like the camera's been run hard today, so it's running out of juice. So you're the only guest for this one. Maybe I'll run another one soon. But thank you so much, Christy. It was really
All right.
pleasure.
Good night, okay?
Good night.
Hey, you
Good
have
night.
a good night.
All right, and thank you, Thor, for
Yeah,
showing
no
up, man.
problem.
We gotta figure out how to get off.
Yeah, that's what she
Does
said.
your bathroom work in here?
What's that?
Does your bathroom work?
Oh yeah, it does.
Can I-
All right. Well, thank you guys, Thor.
I'm gonna pee real quick, and then I want to talk to you real quick.
Yeah.
I'll come
Well,
right back in.
thanks everyone for being here. This is the first, hopefully, of many. I know it's a little bit loose in free form. Hopefully, I'll have a little bit more help in the future. Until next time.